So today is Tuesday and we are at Starbucks doing our sister Starbucks every Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock, and we're waiting for our other sisters. So Cassie, as you met earlier, she runs my businesses for me, does a lot, and we thought we would tell the story of the biggest con of all time.
It was a catastrophe.
It had more to do with her than me because I was out of the country, but it is definitely a con that we've seen happen several times, and it's happened to us and was pretty disastrous, so we thought we'd tell the story. So it starts with, we don't vacation, my family doesn't vacation much because every time we do, something goes wrong, and I kind of preface every vacation that way, and she knows that because I always throw it at everybody, like we can't ever leave because something always goes wrong. So we had booked our first family trip since getting out of medical school, and we were taking the kids on a cruise to Mexico, and I'd kind of laid out price products anyway to where we were shut down for a couple weeks. Nothing was supposed to be happening while I was gone. No big orders were scheduled. We took care of our big retailers before we left, and I was still careful in planning to make sure nothing was going to happen while we left.
And let me just say, it was spring break.
Oh, that's right.
And we run a summer business, so it was the busiest time of our year.
Yeah.
So I knew that she was like out of her mind to think that it was gonna be smooth. But anyways,
we had to work around the kids' school schedules. So, but yeah, I forgot. I forget a lot of details. She forgets nothing. So we kind of work well that way. But so this was like 2 years ago.
I'll start. You
go ahead. Go ahead.
So before they leave, Mecinna says, I've been working on this deal with this guy. They're in Fiji. They're gonna pick up distribution for the whole that side of the Atlantic, and yada yada yada. He's gonna give you a call. It'll probably be in the middle of the night, so make sure you have your phone on and just do whatever he says. And
No.
Yes, pretty much. You're like, we've been working on it. He has his pricing. He's gonna tell you exactly how many he wants, and you're gonna set up shipping. And it, like, she kind of made it sound like it's good to go. So I'm like, okay, yes.
I don't remember even talking to him. I thought the whole thing happened while I was gone.
No, because I was prepared for him. So anyways.
But didn't I tell him, like, we can't do anything for a few weeks? Like, I am leaving the country. Oh, yes, I did. Because I remember saying, I'm leaving the country. You have until this day to put in your PO, and he didn't. So I was like, okay, I'm gone for a couple weeks. This is Cassie's number. She's my assistant, but nothing can ship. You missed the deadline, but call her if you have any other questions. Okay, go.
I don't know why she said nothing can ship, because that was my job, was to make sure it shipped.
Distribution orders are huge.
Yes.
I knew that couldn't be done.
So anyways, so I get a call in the middle of the night. It's like 3 o'clock in the morning. I answer it. I can barely understand him. He has a very, very strong accent. And he tells me he wants to order, I think it was about 2,000 pieces, which is pretty standard. And so I'm like, okay. And he said, but we need it now.
Is it just strip sticks?
It's just strip sticks.
Okay.
And we were actually in transition. We were transitioning into a new style of drip stick. So we were kind of excited because we were going to be able to get rid of a lot of our
old colors.
Yeah, old colors. And so anyways, I'm thinking, well, crap, this is spring break. I wasn't planning on working. I have 2 kids. We were gonna, have some fun. But if he needs it, he needs it. So the next day, I worked. We had, like she said, we'd shut down, so we had no workers whatsoever. Everybody was gone. So I was doing it all by myself. So I packaged and palletized 2,000 drip sticks, got my shipping quotes, and he had given me an email address, so I emailed him and told him what pricing was going to be.
Okay, can I say first? Red flag number 1 is when they say we have to have it tomorrow and they are halfway across the world. That's a big red flag. Yes. If they're a distributor, because distributors always take their time. They're never in that big of a hurry because they have a lot of marketing and other things to lay out first. And where we are in the story too is I ran half this business for 4 years before coming here, and so Cassie wasn't in all of that distribution stuff at that moment. This was kind of her first, I think, the first thing that happened to her. I was gonna say that I let you do, but I wasn't here. So
we're losing our battery. We all should. Yep. So anyways, I emailed him the next morning, gave him pricing. He emailed me back immediately, said, here's my credit card number, run it. And so I said, great. So I ran his credit card, and then we were using PayPal. So We ran his credit card via PayPal. He immediately emailed me back and said that he had found a better deal for the shipping. So he actually, instead of me shipping direct, he wanted me to ship through a brother, I believe it was, in Florida. And
they always have brothers in Florida.
Always, yes. So
it's a scam.
He asked if I would overcharge his card a couple $1,000s,
which is money laundering.
Psh, I didn't
to
know
anybody who's done this before.
Yes. And I'm like, okay, whatever, you know, aim to please. So I overcharged a credit card a couple $1,000s, and then he says, and then
red
I need
flag number.
Will you
50?
stop it? So then he says, I want you to wire transfer the money to my brother in Florida.
Western Union.
That's
Western the
Union.
red flag is
Yes.
Western Union.
Well, I am just like frantic because it is, like I said, spring break. I have the shipping deadline, which I called our shipping company and said, you know, we're not going to Fiji, we're just going to Florida. Have the truck here tomorrow. He's like, sure. So I run down to Smith's and I'm like, I need a Western Union, you know, $3,000 to this person. And the lady's like, are you, no, you don't?
She knows the red flags.
Yeah. And I'm like, no, you don't understand. Like, I know this is little Pocatello, Idaho, and there's nothing else like this, but this is what we do. We distribute internationally. This is not uncommon for us, but just do it.
Let me say too, when I was like walking literally onto the ship, I get a phone call from her saying, this Fiji distributor, things are moving. I think this is going to happen while you're gone, and yeah.
Don't worry, I got it. It's
so
all
I
taken care of.
stupidly call my bank and tell my banker to give her full authority to my accounts and to use my money as she needs, because I'm not aware, she's not aware of the
What's
Western
happening?
Union red flag and the brother in Florida at the port red flag and all these things that I've heard but she's never heard before.
Yeah. So the lady's just like, whatever, it's your money. So I Western Union $2,500 or whatever it was to Florida. So the next day I get another email, and I'm sure he was like, dude, we, you know, hook, line, sinker, we got her.
This lady took it.
Let's go, man.
Her boss is gone.
Yeah. So he's like, we want to double our order, and I'm like, holy crap. Okay, yes sir. So I call my mom, I call a neighbor lady. I mean, I just rehire a whole bunch of employees for Price Products, and we spend 2 more days packaging up another 2,500 dripsticks. And
I'm on a ship with no cell phone. I
Yeah.
have no idea what's going
She has no
on.
idea.
She's hired people. My bank accounts are drained, and my whole family thinks they're doing me this favor that had I known what was going on, I would have been dying.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want any of this to happen.
so we repeat the whole thing. He gives me his credit card, I charge it through PayPal, I go Western Union some money, and the bad thing was like I had to go into her bank and say I need another $2,000 cash to Western Union to this person, and they are like, what? And I'm like, I know it sounds crazy, but they know her, they know she's crazy, they know she does really crazy things, so they're like, well, it is Mecinna, so okay. So they give it to me, I go Western Union it. At this point, we have taken over, I have moved all of her cars out of her garage. I have her whole garage full of pallets. We literally look like Santa's workshop. All these like random strange neighbor kids and church people, and we are loading all this stuff into her garage so that the semi-truck can get up her driveway. She kind of lives up on a hill. And usually we just do 1 or 2 pallets, but by this point we were at like 6 pallets of stuff. So I think everything is good to go, and the truck is supposed to show up the next day.
And they did specific packaging.
Yeah, they did specific packaging.
It's
So
like custom.
made it even harder. Took
Yeah.
even longer. So the next day the truck was supposed to show up, and I'm waiting and waiting. By now it's Thursday, so I've wasted 4 days of my spring break. Literally, we worked 15 and 16-hour days, and truck never shows up. So I'm like, what the heck? So I email the guy. He doesn't email me back for another day, and I'm like, we have all this inventory, you know, what's going on? So he emails me back and he's like, I'm so sorry it took so long, but we were just trying to decide, everything's going so smooth. He's like, can we triple the order? And I'm like, oh my gosh. But
And she still thinks this is legit.
I'm like, this is so exciting though, because we are going to get rid of,
gonna love me.
we are going to get rid of all of our inventory, and she's going to come home, and I made her like $12,000. And
Oh, it was 16 is where we ended at the end of this.
well, yeah, but we're not done yet. So
Keep spending my money. Go ahead.
So we repeat the whole thing, but this time when I go to the bank, they're like, "This isn't right. Like, let's think about this for a minute." And the banker we kind of knew, we were buddies with, and he was like, "Let me see these emails." So I show him these emails, and he does something with the credit card number that I was using to run through PayPal, and he was like, "I have a horrible feeling about this." He's like, "Let's just tell them you can't triple the order. They need to just take what you've gotten so far, and you can do more in a month or something." And I'm like, "Yeah, okay." And by then I'm exhausted and tired and whatnot. So I tell the guy, "Just have your truck come, or we're gonna have the truck come pick it up, and we'll do more later, whatever." I don't even remember. And he was supposed to, because his brother was the shipping company, they were actually the ones that were supposed to be setting up the LTL and all that, the carrier and stuff. So I'm sat and waited for this truck to show up, and it never did. And meantime, I'm like taking pictures of all the pallets and sending Mecinna these pictures of her garage just full of
all this inventory.
Yeah, look at all the stuff we did. And thinking she's gonna be so proud of me and whatnot. So she comes home and it's all still there, and I'm just like, I have no idea why they don't want to come pick up their inventory. And she, of course, knows exactly why they don't want to come pick up their inventory. And then we get this awesome notice from PayPal saying that all the charges had been reversed, and they had taken back all their money plus the fees. Plus, on top of that, they had, I think, somewhere around $5,000 or $6,000 that I had Western Union them. So it was like beyond the worst nightmare you could ever imagine, and a very, very good learning lesson for me.
Good learning lesson for her. I lost $16,000. And so kind of, if you didn't follow exactly what they were doing or what happened, is the story of his brother's in Florida on the coast and runs a shipping company. They were telling Cass that they can get better shipping rates through his brother, and so to overcharge that card, the credit card. Well, didn't they give you 2 or 3 credit cards?
Yeah.
So every time they doubled or tripled that order, they gave a different credit card with a different name, which were stolen credit cards. And instead of, when we would say, "Okay, your order's $7,000, he'd say, "Okay, but charge my card for $10,000 or $11,000, and then Western Union that money to us, and I'm going to use that to pay my brother, to pay the freight." And at that time, we didn't know that was his brother. I didn't find out that the freight company was a relative of his until, it's not a real freight company, but those charges, that money was going to his brother, a relative with the same name.
In Florida.
Where you
traffic drugs.
Yeah.
Ding, ding, ding.
And so then they don't pick up the freight, and which we've paid labor on for 3 days, night and day of packaging, and it was custom packaged, so we then can't resell it until we unwrap and open all of it.
Every single box.
Redo all of it. So it was a huge waste of labor and money there. But then right when I got home and saw the emails and saw the multiple cards, I called American Express instead, because they were American Express card. Or no, it was MasterCard. And I said, "I know this guy is going to refute these charges and refuse them, and he's going to get all this money back. I'm just letting you know that this is a con artist. I've seen this before." And they did nothing with it. And so he did do that. So because we had run all that through our PayPal, run all those credit cards through our PayPal then came back and tried to pull $16,000 out of my PayPal account. Well, since it wasn't in my PayPal account, it got pulled from my bank account that was hooked up to my PayPal account. Well, we didn't have that money because she had Western Unioned it to him, which is not trackable. And so that money was just gone. So he doubled his money on that scam, got all the cash from her, and then it was pulled out of my bank account instantly. And try fighting that with American Express. It doesn't go anywhere. MasterCard. We called PayPal, the FBI, MasterCard, everybody.
CNN.
We should have. Dateline.
Or Dateline. Didn't somebody call you and ask if they could?
No, I didn't send it to anybody. But it was, and the ridiculous thing was I saw it coming, and I called these companies and said, "I know that he's going to refute these charges. I have POs from him. I have emails of him ordering this merchandise. Do not let him say he did not order this and refute these charges." And they still let him. And when they pulled that money from my accounts and I called them, they said, send us your evidence. You know, PayPal wanted all the evidence. I sent them the POs. I sent them the emails from him. I sent the orders. I sent the credit card charges. They still did not return that money. Yeah, we had all the card numbers, which all those cards have been shut down. They were all under different names, as we said. And there was nothing. It was just money lost. Nobody cared to do anything. And what I was told by American Express was, or MasterCard, was that they protect their customers, which was him. But I'm also a MasterCard customer with probably 8 cards myself at that time, and there was no protection at all for the US company shipping and trying to work overseas here. It was, you know, he was the one protected, he was the one that got the money, he was the one that they didn't look into or dispute that settlement. So we were just out. And that's...
And I still have a job.
Yeah. Only because she's blood.
Yep. But honestly, we get emails like that.
We still get those
weekly
emails
sometimes. I mean, it's just,
we
it's
even get them at
amazing.
the spa. We've gotten people emailing the spa saying, I want to book my mom and my 5 sisters for a full day at the spa. I'm going to have a limo driver bring them, and I want you to overcharge my visa $300 for the driver fee. And they want the money Western Union. It's always in that same email, the Western Union and the driver's fee. So it's kind of all over, and they always have crazy weird names and whatnot, but it's a pretty common thing, but there's nothing to be done. We've reported them, and nobody, they don't stop. We still get them all the time. So, and I'm sure other people are getting suckered into it, just like you who dude. So that's our big story about our Fiji scam
Catastrophe.
Yeah. So